So tell us who you are and where we are, and then we want to hear about the current dynamics of the Topanga restoration.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the Topanga Lagoon Restoration Project area.
Very nice, very
We're
nice.
here at Topanga Beach, managed by the County Department of Beaches Harbor. And just across the way, if you look at where the lagoon goes, under the PCH Bridge, it continues on to California State Park property associated with Lower Topanga State Park. My name is Jamie King. I'm a senior conservation biologist. I work with the Resource Conservation District of the Santa Monica Mountains, a tiny but mighty state agency that's locally funded. And our mission is to connect people to nature through research, restoration, awareness of how fires behave and affect homes. And so here, the relevance is our involvement is we're the project manager and grant managers of the Topanga Lagoon Restoration Project on behalf of Caltrans, state parks, and the county. And as you look around you, you see we're in a place that looks like it's been affected by fire as
Little bit.
In January of this year, the Palisades Fire came through and just wreaked havoc on this entire ecosystem in the greater Topanga area, Palisades, Malibu. And specifically for this project, the intent of this project has been and continues to be the restoration as much as we can of this amazing little half-acre lagoon. And the most area that we can get after much analysis by state parks in the county and others is that we could get this to be up to 8 acres, which is, what is that? I should do my math.
No.
60 times the size?
That was the original with the historic buildings still in place, right?
Well, that's correct.
Okay.
So that's a nuanced question.
Okay, sorry.
So State Parks is a lead agency with partners Department of Beaches and Harbor and Caltrans looked at a range of options of how they could restore this little lagoon. How could it be? But also it's not just purely a restoration project. It's not just about the 2 endangered fish that live and migrate through this system. Steelhead trout, tidewater goby. Endangered, right? And this is kind of close to the southern extent of both. But it's also about coastal access. It's like, if you look at this beach, over 1 million people come to this beach a year. And if you look over to the east, we have the whole greater region of LA and Santa Monica. This park is the largest urban park in the United States, of a state park. And like, all of these people should be able to know that this exists and have access to it. And right now, there aren't facilities to let people know that they can come here, that there will be in the future trails to hike, that there are resources for them to know about.
Interpretation, place to pull off the road, all that stuff.
All of that stuff. So the project isn't just about creating a larger lagoon, but it's also about moving the facilities behind you, the lifeguard building.
Right, which is right on the eroding coastline.
And if we go to it, you'll see it's like erosion, the waves are hitting that structure.
Right.
So moving it back, roughly to where those palm trees are, so that there's more of a history and a time period that this facility can continue to exist, given climate change and sea level rise.
Right.
But it's also, how do you make sure that people have something to come to? So on State Park side, there was a ranch motel, super historic, one of the only existing representations of 1930s car culture where you come up and drive next to your motel, walk out, stay the night, and go to the beach.
Where every film noir was filmed and the detective has to come to Malibu or whatever.
Right. And there's an amazing movie online called Malibu Song, which is a documentary about the community that used to live back here behind the motel. You all should check out.
Cool.
But unfortunately, January this year, fire came through and state parks lost all
100% gone.
100% gone. And the county was fortunate. They didn't lose their lifeguard building, but a lot of their vegetation was hammered. So now we have the situation of this project that has a lot of support. We're in the design phase. State parks and project team members chose an alternative where they would expand the lagoon to 8 acres. The motel a small portion of the motel was to be left in place to be revitalized for a public benefit, maybe for low-cost overnight accommodation, or maybe for like an interpretive facility, to be determined. But with that being lost, the project team and state parks is taking a step back to think about, okay, does our plan change in any way?
Right.
What can we do? What will we do differently? Should we consider other opportunities? What we do know at this point is the county is on board to continue with their portion of the project as planned.
Okay.
They support the expansion of this to 8 acres. Imagine, if you look at this bridge over here, it is only 80 feet long. It's going to be 440 feet long. So imagine how much better that will be for fish migrating in and for fish that place stuff
Connectivity,
down.
connection, flow, everything.
All that stuff. So the county's moving forward with the designs to move their facilities back to respect the plan for the lagoon. State Parks is taking a moment to think about what does this mean for them, and We actually have Noah Richer here with State Park, so if you want to talk
Cool.
a little bit.
Cool.
But yeah, so they're taking a moment to reflect, to figure out not just if anything changes for this project, but for the other facilities, like entire Will Rogers State Park burned down.
Right.
So it's, you know, it's an unfortunate situation, but all projects have.
But it's an opportunity as well.
It's an opportunity to just reassess, and every project has something that occurs that you have to stop and rethink. And unfortunately, we have a super amount of support from the community, from the landowners, from a lot of our public funders. You know, this is all grant funded right now.
Right.
So, you know, we're optimistic that we're going to all work together to come up with
Cool.
the best solution possible.
And and not that we wanted a fire, but it's a blessing that it happened in the design phase as opposed to after the design was locked in and everything and all that jazz.
Right,
so
so
that's
goby, right?
Totally.
Right,
totally.
cases where
Totally.
we know of facilities that have just been done, they did the ribbon cutting and a fire came through.
Yeah.
So silver, I don't know about blessing, but I'm going to use the word silver lining.
Okay.
Silver lining, right? Like, you know,
Okay.
like it could be worse.
Yeah, right.
Certainly, you know, everybody's dealing with a lot. Like,
Totally.
There was some, you know, State Park staff that had it at home.
Right.
across
No,
the way.
100%.
So, yeah, it's, you know, we're now 5 months past. So now it's just like deep breath.
Right.
How do we move forward
Right.
and like trying to herd the cats, gather the troops, and
Yeah, and
help
in my
us come up with a
experience,
plan.
having done these things for a long time, that 5 months is about right. If you wait too long, you lose momentum, but you can't do it immediately. So a little bit of a breath is, I think this is the, you know, summer after the January fire seems to be a good time to have those serious conversations
Right.
about
I mean,
stuff.
look at where we're at. Right. Look at this.
Yeah.
This place is magical, and like I'd like to go to Malibu Lagoon and see the great work that Parks did there.
Yep,
You know, no
yep.
project is perfect, but like so many good things have occurred, and this has the opportunity to be that as well, and to you know, make sure that this half-acre zone doesn't get totally destroyed by some sort of catastrophic event. That we
Sure,
have a
sure.
bigger area that's going to be more robust.
Sure.
So
Awesome. Well, thank you, dear. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Update
my
on the
pleasure.
Topanga restoration. Thank you, dear.